The story unfolds at the Mo Sect, a small settlement nestled atop a mountain in the sky. Two figures are seen soaring on a magic carpet. The elder of the pair, Lu Dongli, addresses the younger, Xiao, informing her that they are nearing the border of the Mo Sect and cautions her against getting lost. They eventually touch down in front of a temple, greeted by an imposing flight of stairs. Lu Dongli hoists Xiao onto her back, facilitating their ascent. During the climb, she advises Xiao to acquaint herself with the surroundings of the mountain and promises to elucidate the sect's rules and other important matters. Xiao pledges to attentively heed her master's instructions. As Lu Dongli begins to expound upon the rules, her words come out garbled and unintelligible, leaving Xiao bewildered. Undeterred, Lu Dongli moves on, asserting that it's time to focus on the crucial points. Ascending the stairs, she reveals that they belong to the Mo Sect, comprising a total of 10 members. She discloses that she has 6 disciples, with one of them being the sect leader. Stressing the importance of respect, she informs Xiao that the sect leader is her elder brother, 6 years her senior. Xiao is instructed to accord him even greater respect than her own master. However, Lu Dongli also lays down the rule that Xiao must not be alone with the sect leader or learn from him. Curiosity piqued, Xiao wonders if the sect leader eats children, but her master assures her otherwise. Lu Dongli then reveals the true reason behind the prohibition. Her brother suffers from a troubling illness. A flashback shows the sect leader confiding in his sister that their world is akin to a game they are trapped within. This revelation leads Lu Dongli to believe that her brother is afflicted with some form of mental illness, as she cannot accept the notion of living in a game. Following the passing of their parents, the sect leader began to lose touch with reality, fixating on the concept of a main character's template, which his sister couldn't comprehend. In the present, the master acknowledges that her elder brother suffers from some mental instability, prompting her to prioritize strengthening herself so the sect can depend on her. At that moment, both the master and her apprentice notice the delusional sect leader, Lu, standing perilously close to the cliff's edge, proclaiming himself as the savior of a world veering toward darkness without him. Xiao finds herself captivated by his charisma upon seeing his face, but her master warns her against heeding his nonsensical ramblings. The sect leader boasts about Xiao's luck in joining his sect, but his sister disagrees, recognizing Xiao's talent as potentially garnering acceptance into superior sections. She feels fortunate to have such a gifted student. Concerned that Xiao might be swayed by her brother's delusions, the master endeavors to remove the infatuated girl from his influence, suggesting she needs rest. Despite Xiao's attempt to engage him in conversation, her master insists they depart without looking back. As they leave, the sect master marvels at where his sister found such a talented disciple, impressed by Xiao's exceptional stats. Reflecting on his own experience in the game for the past 21 years, he recalls the absence of cheat codes, realizing he's not as insane as believed. He reveals that he resides within the Tianxin world, the largest virtual realm of the 22nd century, often referred to as a parallel dimension. Anticipating the game's beta testing, a notification confirms his prediction, granting him access to his character stats panel. Lu Chao Ge discovers his character is at level 10, boasting maximum health points and nearly peak spiritual level. His proficiency in core bone swordsmanship and charm impresses him, although his luck remains fixed at 3.14, much to his dismay. Despite the system deeming him a handsome character, it labels him as essentially useless. Chao Ge embraces the flattery, acknowledging that while weakness may be temporary, good looks endure indefinitely. He finds solace in the notion that superficial charm can outlast transitory vulnerabilities. Another notification appears, announcing the impending commencement of the beta testing stage in 30 Earth days. Chao Ge's excitement surges as he comprehends that this translates to 300 days in Tianxin time. However, the fervor surrounding the arrival of new players dwindles as the sect leader reminisces about his detachment from his former world. In a flashback scene, Chao Ge's life on Earth unfolds, depicting him as a rich, handsome, and indulged youth who obtained anything he desired. Both in reality and in virtual realms, he relished manipulating others, leveraging his wealth as a means of dominance. Despite being merely an average player, his opulence granted him invincibility in games, an advantage he presumed others possessed. Loneliness plagued Chao Ge in the real world, exacerbated by the neglect of his affluent parents amidst their divorce proceedings. Though his parents remained physically present, they were emotionally absent, relegating their interactions with him solely to financial transactions. Predictably, Chao Ge's disillusionment grew, despite his ability to acquire anything material. The abundance he enjoyed paradoxically led to his impoverishment of genuine connection. With nothing to anchor him, he eventually returned to the virtual realm. Upon logging back in, he experienced a profound revelation, rebirth into a noble family. Welcomed by his new parents with unbridled joy, they christened him Lu Chao Ge, signifying the herald of an early morning melody. The young sect leader never fathomed the prospect of reincarnation, let alone attaining the desires of his past life. In this newfound existence, Chao Ge recognized the intrinsic value of love and affection amidst the myriad complexities of the world. These intangible treasures offered a profound sense of fulfillment, unlike the transient allure of material wealth and power. His reminiscences are abruptly interrupted by a notification from the system, announcing the unlocking of the mission function. It also presents him with the option to accept the mission. Feeling a sense of stagnation after 21 years in the game, he eagerly embraces the opportunity to level up through missions. With determination, the dashing player accepts the mission, recognizing the wealth of experience he has accumulated. Upon acceptance, the system designates him as the leader of the sect and assigns him the mission to fortify and expand his sect. This revelation triggers a recollection of his father's enduring aspiration to achieve this very goal. Driven by familial legacy, he resolves to fulfill the mission. Curious for further details, he prompts the system to provide more information. However, his anticipation quickly gives way to horror as a message delivered by the system leaves him stunned. It reveals that his sect is deemed unqualified, a revelation that shatters his expectations. Despite his awareness that the Mo Sect ranks modestly, he never anticipated it being deemed unqualified for its first mission. His knowledge of the Tianjin world's hierarchy recalls the 9th rank as the lowest, with the Sword Sect among the top 4 organizations occupying the first rank. Recollections of a special rank that no longer exists further deepen his distress, realizing that his sect is virtually the worst in the virtual world. Baffled by his sect's disqualification, he speculates about potential glitches in the system. Delving deeper, he uncovers that while the sect meets the criteria of having up to 10 members, his own novice rank as the sect leader poses the hindrance. Realization dawns upon him. He is the problem. Disheartened, he resolves to descend from the mountains the next day in pursuit of his breakthrough. Yet, amidst his despondency, a glimmer of hope emerges as he recalls that if the Mo Sect were truly unqualified, it would have been expelled from the 300 sects governing the world. However, this isn't the case, thanks to a certain lady within the sect who belongs to the first-ranked Sword Sect. The knowledge of her influential connections offers a ray of optimism in his bleak situation. The young leader strides purposefully into the graveyard, his steps echoing softly against the gravestones. With a firm knock on a weathered headstone, he announces the arrival of offerings. Unbeknownst to many, aside from his official sect members, there exists another figure concealed within the shadows of history. Centuries ago, this enigmatic individual was resurrected by the 31st leader of the sect, their exceptional prowess drawing admiration and awe. Recognizing their unparalleled strength among peers, the master cultivator chose seclusion within the cemetery as their abode. As the master's energy begins to permeate the cemetery, Lu Chao Ge contemplates the complexities of their partnership. On one hand, he acknowledges the convenience of not having to prepare a grave upon their eventual passing. Yet, the perpetual uncertainty of their status, whether alive or deceased, plagues him. Their interaction has been solely through exchanged energies. They have never met in person. The scene shifts, transporting us to a high-authority meeting presided over by the sect leader, Lu Chao Ge, and his sister, addressed as Elder Lu Dongli. Seated at the table, he broaches the topic of embarking on a perilous journey down the mountain. However, his sister detects a recurring pattern of impulsive behavior, dubbing it as an acting addiction. Offended by her insinuation, Lu Chao Ge reminds her of the potential consequences of mocking the sect leader, threatening her with the childish punishment of pinching her cheeks. The disparity between his authoritative demeanor and his sister's composed maturity becomes glaringly evident as she calmly queries his motives for descending the mountain. Slamming his hand on the table, Lu Chao Ge asserts his need for a breakthrough, citing the necessity of acquiring a rare herb known as the marrow-cleansing spirit grass, which he must procure personally. Upon hearing Lu Chao Ge's aspirations, Dongli expresses her excitement at her brother's desire to achieve another breakthrough after years of stagnation at the beginner rank. Despite her enthusiasm, Lu Chao Ge warns her against mocking him. He divulges his intention not only to achieve personal advancement, but also to spread the Mo Sect throughout the world, honoring their ancestors in the process. Dongli observes this proclamation with a mix of amusement and concern, interpreting it as a resurgence of his hero complex and tendency to show off. The following morning, the sect leader, accompanied by his only disciple Ting, Dongli, and Xiao, prepares to embark on their journey. Lu Chao Ge grumbles about their ordinary attire, lamenting that it fails to convey his esteemed status as a sage with outstanding qualities. Dongli rebukes him, advising discretion to avoid drawing unwanted attention. Despite his annoyance, Lu Chao Ge begrudgingly acquiesces. Meanwhile, two spies observe the group from a nearby tree, noting the sect leader's characteristic boisterousness. Confirming his predictability, they hatch their scheme. The scene shifts to the crew riding a flying leaf carpet through the skies. Xiao marvels at the crimson forest below. Identified by her master as the Forest of Flames, their destination in search of the marrow-cleansing grass. Curious, Xiao questions why Lu Chao Ge has been lost in thought since the journey began. Dongli explains that he is cultivating the art of meditation, a fundamental practice for cultivators. She assures Xiao that she will learn about it in due time, igniting the young disciple's excitement at the prospect of emulating the handsome sect leader in meditation. In reality, Lu Chao Ge is engrossed in selecting a mission from the system. He notes that the leveling up missions come in 4 colors: yellow, blue, purple, and orange, each representing varying levels of difficulty. Remembering his past experiences, he deliberates over which mission to choose. Lu Chao Ge recognizes that yellow missions are popular for their simplicity and speed, while blue missions attract seasoned players. Purple missions are reserved for professionals, and orange missions, the most challenging, are rarely chosen, typically by those with substantial resources. After considering all the factors, the sect leader deliberates and ultimately selects the most difficult mission, opting for the orange challenge. A sense of satisfaction washes over him as he successfully acquires the mission. Unbeknownst to him, another magic carpet, concealed by invisibility, covertly tails them from behind, trailing the Mo Sect leader and his companions. Among the spies, Master Ning remarks on the loud winds, prompting her disciple to question the wisdom of following the Mo Sect so closely. Confidently, Ning assures him of their invisibility, jesting that they could stand naked in front of the Mo Sect without detection. Though the disciple acknowledges her point, he finds her description exaggerated. Ning then questions his motives, asking if he follows Lu Chao Ge out of admiration or jealousy. Caught off guard, the disciple admits to his disdain, prompting a teasing response from Ning, who reminds him of her prowess as the best sword master of the young generation. Meanwhile, the Mo Sect members arrive at the Flame Forest, where Lu Dongli reminds them to depart immediately after locating the marrow-cleansing grass due to the presence of monsters. Lu Chao Ge, noticing his sister's remarkably stable landing, questions if she's hiding her true cultivation level. Though she denies it with a guilty laugh, the sect leader senses her deception. Shaking off the thought, he directs the group to commence the search for the marrow-cleansing grass. Suddenly, a message appears, tasking them with defeating a level 10 wild monster, a boss-level challenge. Realizing the difficulty of the mission, Lu Chao Ge begins to question the existence of such a formidable foe. Aware that powerful bosses are more readily found than weaker ones, he braces himself for the formidable task ahead. As Lu Chao Ge ponders their next move, his sister interrupts with news of discovering 3 marrow-cleansing grass herbs lying conspicuously nearby. The young disciple is tantalized by the enticing aroma and is tempted to eat them. However, their pursuit is interrupted by the sudden appearance of a monster lurking behind the tree where the grasses are located. Dongli promptly alerts the others, urging caution. In response, Lu Chao Ge confidently steps forward, asserting that no one should move and declaring his intent to consume the marrow-cleansing grass. Witnessing her brother's audacious behavior, Dongli realizes they may have a problem, recognizing his tendency to act recklessly. Undeterred, Lu Chao Ge advances towards the monster, emboldened by his apparent stroke of luck in finding both the grass and the mission target in one location. Concerned for her brother's safety, Dongli frets over his impulsive bravery, while Xiao admires the sect leader's bold decision. Dongli resolves to assess the situation and intervene if necessary, prepared to defeat the monster herself if it proves too formidable. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the forest, the spies observe the unfolding events. The swordsman informs his master that the monster is of rank 9 and possesses a beginner's rank. Ning queries what Lu Chao Ge might do in response. The boy speculates that while they may be evenly matched in rank, monsters typically possess greater physical strength, suggesting that Lu Chao Ge might need to outmaneuver the creature to secure victory. Ning agrees but observes Lu Chao Ge's carefree demeanor, implying a lack of strategic planning. As Lu Chao Ge leisurely gathers herbs from the tree, a massive black-patterned snake suddenly lunges at him from behind. However, it quickly becomes apparent that this is a calculated maneuver by Lu Chao Ge, designed to lure the monster into underestimating him. While his companions shout warnings, Lu Chao Ge maintains his composure, sizing up the creature with confidence, intrigued by its potential lineage. Regardless of its origin, Lu Chao Ge draws his sword and vows to thrash the snake's head until it's permanently crooked. As the spy observes this, he instinctively snaps his neck to the side. When Master Ning inquires about his well-being, he feigns indifference, though inwardly, he ponders why he still reacts reflexively after so many years since his encounter with our hero. He reminisces about a past incident when our hero lectured him for recklessness within their sect, proclaiming himself a sword master. Confronted by our hero, he attempted to assert his seniority but was swiftly corrected by Lu Chao Ge's slap across his cheek. Despite his skill, the young spy couldn't endure the disrespect of not being acknowledged as a senior disciple by his junior. This awakening slap, however, wasn't solely responsible for his submission to Lu Chao Ge. It was his astounding cultivation speed and keen observation skills that truly captivated him. Indeed, we witness the Mo Sect Leader's prowess as he dispatches the monster with a single, precise strike to its vital point. Lu Chao Ge absorbs the defeated snake, converting it into experience points, much to Xiao Chou's fascination with his strength. Conversely, his sister remains unimpressed, viewing his use of extravagant techniques as wasteful of energy and overlooking the potential threat of another lurking monster. After defeating the creature, Lu Chao Ge gains 10,000 experience points, completing his level-up mission and earning the chance to claim his rewards. Satisfied with the points, he gladly accepts the mission rewards, which surprise the sect leader, an attribute awakening coupon. This signifies extraordinary talent or divine favor, enabling him to control different elements by altering his spiritual attribute. The coupon also enhances his affinity with the chosen element, transforming lightning into thunder or gale into a powerful wind. Lu Chao Ge eagerly anticipates discovering his own attribute, knowing his sister already commands the wind attribute. Now that he has obtained the grass he sought, our hero desires to depart from the flame forest and find a safer location to meditate and achieve a breakthrough to a new realm of power. Taking only one of the grass herbs, he assures his team that it's sufficient, believing the rest should be left for others in need. As they depart on their magic carpet, Dongli assures her brother that she can find a secure location. Observing this, her young disciple concludes that her master is particularly cautious about safety. Meanwhile, back in the forest, the swordsman notices that the Mo Sect left hastily without harvesting all the marrow grass. He wonders if Lu Chao Ge intends to break through immediately. Master Ning, correcting him on a slip of words, informs him that Lu wouldn't have anywhere to store the remaining marrow grass. Suddenly, she reveals a spiritual box capable of storing such items and places the marrow grass inside. Elsewhere, our main party stands beside a waterfall, where the leader muses about favorable outcomes with someone watching over them from above. His sister interrupts, stating they've scanned a 5-mile radius to ensure the area's safety. He teases her for being overly serious, reminding her he's only planning a breakthrough and not preparing for a heavenly tribulation. Dongli reminds him of the importance of safety, a lesson he once taught her. Hearing this, the sect leader sits down and swiftly changes the topic to focus on achieving his breakthrough. Lu Chao Ge mentions feeling something about to emerge from his body, exciting his sister and her disciple, who wonder if he's on the brink of reaching a new realm. ZQ asks if he's willing to share some of the marrow-cleansing grass, but Lu merely tosses it into his mouth, warning her of the ensuing pain. As expected, the sect leader begins to groan in agony, causing the little girl to panic and plead with her master for assistance. However, Dongli appears unconvinced by his little display. Meanwhile, the swordsman, standing at a distance, observes everything closely. Gripping his sword tightly in anger, he watches as Lu Chao Ge prepares to grow stronger. Ning reminds Yu, her disciple, of how he and Dongli awakened their attributes when they broke through their ranks. The boy acknowledges this, and Ning questions whether the Mo Sect master can also awaken his attribute. Panicking, he insists it's impossible. His extreme reaction surprises Ning, but the boy explains that no one has successfully awakened their attribute after the age of 16, a tradition that spans ancient times. Even talented geniuses fail to do so upon reaching adulthood, implying Lu Chao Ge will likely face the same fate. Ning praises him for his knowledge, but acknowledges it's too late for the Mo Sect master. Had he broken through at a younger age, he might have had a chance at greatness. Their conversation takes an unexpected turn when Lu Chao Ge literally awakens his attribute before their eyes. A bright beam of light shoots from his body into the sky, alerting people worldwide to the awakening. Cultivators across the world revel in such spectacles, but a mysterious guardian in the Mo Sect disapproves of the sudden interest from outsiders. The master then extends her power around Lu Chao Ge, signaling to everyone that a Grandmaster cultivator protects him from the shadows. Concerned about the consequences, they decide it's best not to observe the event further. They understand that someone emitting such energy must be a formidable force. Meanwhile, as Lu Chao Ge undergoes the process of awakening his attribute, a massive surge of energy propels him into a heavenly plane. Surrounded by endless space, he finds himself overwhelmed by bubbles containing the energies of heavens and earth. As our hero floats through the heavenly realm, he meticulously inspects each bubble, searching for the attribute that belongs to him. However, he notices that the energy spheres seem to evade him, practically avoiding his presence. Eventually, he spots one of the balls left behind and deduces it must be his attribute. With the belief that it's unique and fitting for someone of his caliber, he reaches out to touch it. Meanwhile, back in the normal Tianxin world, Xiaoqiu opens her eyes to behold the massive beam of light in the sky. Overwhelmed by the power surrounding them, she questions her master about the strange occurrence. Dong Li had given the little girl one of the marrow-cleansing grass to eat, instructing her to call out if she feels any pain afterward. When Z wakes up, her master's shock surprises her, leading her to wonder if she wasn't supposed to awaken so quickly. However, she realizes her master isn't even looking at her. Turning around, she notices the waterfall behind them has frozen in time. While pondering this anomaly, a blinding light descends from the clouds, revealing the sect leader's attribute awakening. Master Ning and the others witness this incredible event and are equally astounded. They realize that Lu Chao Ge has awakened a heavenly order, a feat only achievable by the top attribute awakener who wields the power of heaven and earth. Master Ning explains how both the swordsman and Dong Li failed to trigger it because they weren't the first attribute awakener of their powers. Furious at this revelation, Yu concludes that the Mo Sect leader not only awakened his attribute but also holds the distinction of being the first to wield the power of heaven and earth. Despite his annoyance at this achievement, the swordsman is curious about the type of power the sect leader has awakened. His thoughts are interrupted when his master reveals that it's the attribute of water. Meanwhile, the other people of Tianxin who are witnessing this magnificent moment all ponder which sect disciple the hero must be to call upon the heavenly order. Despite their astonishment, they recognize that the hero's power isn't particularly impressive if he can only trigger the heavenly order 4 or 5 times at best. While they discuss this, Lu Chao Ge remains suspended in the sky, surrounded by a bright light and water. For some unknown reason, he finds himself unable to open his eyes and hears someone speaking to him with a loud voice. Just as he grapples with this situation, he triggers the heavenly order for the 6th time. Below, his sister watches anxiously, hoping he can endure until the 8th or 9th time, like others before him. Yi watches the event unfold eagerly, recalling from ancient scrolls that the lowest person to trigger the heavenly order managed 6 times, while those who surpassed that did so based on their cultivation path. Suddenly, Master Ning poses a question to him, asking how many times he thinks the sect leader can trigger the heavenly order. In response, the boy admits he can't possibly guess, emphasizing the significance of each subsequent triggering. Meanwhile, high above, Lu Chao Ge finally comprehends that the heavenly order is a repeating phenomenon. As he reaches this conclusion, his sister witnesses him triggering it for the 8th time, only to be astonished as he proceeds to trigger it for the 9th time. At this juncture, the sect leader realizes that his fate lies in his own hands, especially since he achieved this feat independently. With determination, he finally opens his eyes to complete his attribute awakening. Our handsome hero descends from the sky, a message confirming his successful awakening of the water attribute displayed before him. With a smirk on his face, he revels in his newfound powers. As he flexes his abilities, his sister approaches him, inquiring about how he feels. Before he can respond, her young disciple interjects, expressing her love for the taste of the marrow-cleansing grass and asking the sect leader for more. Unfazed by her antics, Lu Chao Ge responds to his sister's question, remarking that the world feels clearer now with his newfound powers. Displaying his unique ability to effortlessly control the water around them, he gathers and disperses droplets with ease, recognizing the usefulness of his new power. Impressed, his sister congratulates him on acquiring his water affinity. The infatuated girl finds herself even more attracted to him but cautions herself against drooling and reminisces about the taste of the marrow-cleansing grass while composing herself. Meanwhile, the sect leader realizes the extent of his power extends to controlling the water within human bodies. He concludes that he can manipulate water as long as there's a source nearby, a realization that exceeds his expectations. Later, Dong Lu returns after erasing all traces of their presence in the surroundings, informing her brother that they can commence their journey back home. Commending her for her dependability, the sect leader acknowledges that no one would know of the miracle he just performed now that she's erased all traces. Utilizing her wind power to transform a leaf into another magic carpet, she reminds him of the importance of staying low-key, as his miraculous feat could lead to dire consequences if powerful individuals were to find out. The scene transitions to the Mo Sect members departing on their flying leaf, with the spiteful swordsman watching them, contemplating how the man who once dominated over him has likely returned. On the other hand, Master Ning expresses mild delight that the sect leader has finally shown some potential. However, her disciple remains disturbed, sensing that he's forgetting something important. It dawns on him that Lu Chao Ge still hasn't achieved his breakthrough. He informs his master, who reveals she's already aware and sincerely hopes nothing bad happens to their sect leader. Meanwhile, the handsome hero faces a different dilemma. Having gathered enough experience points to level up, he's unsure how many levels to ascend at once. He deliberates, considering the need to conserve points for various purposes such as restoring mana, using powerful moves, or gaining skill upgrades in the future. As he ponders, his sister interrupts, offering the crew's spirit spring water. The two disciples on board seize the opportunity and gulp down the water eagerly. Dongla then offers her brother a drink, and as he accepts, he decides to level up by 5 ranks with a single drink. Instantly breaking through 5 levels leaves his sister stunned. To him, it's nothing remarkable, but the spies tailing them are equally astonished by the phenomenon. Yu, already fearful of our hero, is now witnessing his former bully ascend 5 ranks with a mere cup of water, without needing to sit down or meditate. Witnessing this, Master Ning can't help but admit the sect leader's achievement is impressive, as it's rare even for a genius to level up 5 ranks in a single attempt. While she ponders how he managed to accomplish it, her disciple suddenly yells out, claiming to understand. He suggests that the sect leader must have intentionally stayed in the beginner's rank all this time. Yu finally realizes that Lu Chao Ge never gave up on himself or refused to cultivate further. Instead, he had his own plans all along. Coming to this conclusion, he questions if he would have been able to display the same patience, realizing he can't compare himself to his rival. As Yu beats himself up over the realization, his master continues to contemplate our boy's incredible breakthrough. She claims it's not so shocking to her after all, knowing he's always been a peculiar child from birth. The fact that he never showed signs of disappointment or negative emotions despite being stuck at the beginner's rank for so long proves his unbreakable spirit for cultivating. Meanwhile, on the Mo Sect flying carpet, Xiaoqiu notices Heiting looking worked up and questions if he knows anything. He admits he doesn't know, and she points out his reticence. Suddenly, the little girl burps, and a blue aura envelopes her body, shocking everyone. Panicked, she asks the elders what's happening, but her master pulls her into a tight hug, congratulating her for becoming a rank 1 cultivator. Xiaoqiu is shocked to hear this, and then a message from the system confirms that the Mo Sect has officially fulfilled the standards of a 9th rank sect. Beneath the message, there's a prompt asking our hero if he'd like to accept the sect advancement, and he promptly confirms. With the advancement of his sect, another message reveals he has received 5,000 more experience points along with 1 attribute for his swordsmanship aptitude. Seeing this, our boy can't help but feel the rewards are out of this world. With the bonus points, his sword aura attribute will be increased in every aspect. He's especially delighted to see that his swordsmanship is no longer at 1 because now he can use some of his experience points to unlock sword intent, the highest realm in sword cultivation. The thought of his skill skyrocketing after this boost fills him with excitement, but he quickly remembers that Yu, the brat, is also a main character in this world. Yu was born with a swordsmanship aptitude of 10 and is known as the flawless swordmaster. Our hero feels jealous at this thought and begins to think he should be called the flawless charmer, as his charm is also at 10. As he continues to ponder this, a notification for a mission called the Second Ring interrupts him. This mission entails advancing the Mo Sect from the 9th rank to the ethereal, which our hero finds somewhat sudden. The mission's rewards and requirements are displayed, indicating he needs to accumulate 1,000 points for the sect's reputation, recruit 3 level 2 cultivators, and have over 100 disciples. Although the sect's reputation has increased significantly, he acknowledges they still have a long way to go. Just then, another message appears, informing him that he's now at level 15, unlocking the master-disciple system function. Realizing he can gain experience points by accepting disciples, he decides to give it a shot. However, when he presses the button, he's baffled to see the name Master Lu King Fong. From the color of the font, it's apparent that this character has passed away. Witnessing this, the sect leader recalls the sad memory of his late parents. He also remembers a poem from his previous life, which he didn't understand until he was reborn in Tianqian. Despite the sadness that washes over him, he assures his late parents that the Mo Sect will prosper under his guidance. As for his disciple, he notices that he's still just a rank 10 noob. He can't believe he forgot about his disciple all this time, so he decides it's high time the boy had his breakthrough as well. A while later, the sect leader confronts his disciple about leveling up and questions why he hasn't done so for so long. Ting remains silent, but then we see a flashback of an old man warning people about a child consumed by evil. The old man cautions them to beware of this child, predicting that he would take the lives of many. As fate would have it, this child turns out to be the young Ting. Due to the old man's prophecy, the villagers began to believe that Ting caused the death of his parents. They conspire to throw him out of their village before he can bring them any misfortune. However, just as they are about to carry out this cruel act, Lu Chao Ge emerges from the crowd, revealing himself as a disciple of the Mo Sect. He demands water to drink, captivating the people with his charming appearance. Turning to the terrified little boy, Lu Chao Ge questions if he's truly the child with evil rooted within him. Afraid and naive, Ting admits it tearfully. Despite the rumors, our hero offers to take him in as his disciple. The crowd tries to discourage him, claiming the child isn't normal, but Lu Chao Ge angrily silences them. He declares that the child will serve under him from that day forth, taking full responsibility for whatever happens to him in the future. Little Ting can't believe his luck, and as he stares in awe, Lu Chao Ge instructs him to follow closely behind, warning that he won't care if he falls along the way. The journey up the mountain is arduous for the poor kid, and Lu Chao Ge has to save him from falling. Upon examining his face, he jokes about the boy's appearance before urging him to hold tightly to his hand, emphasizing the harsh road ahead. In the present, as the master and disciples ride on the flying magic leaf, our hero shares a parable about the creation of great evil. He explains that it begins by giving a child numerous abilities, allowing them to lead a miserable life. Then, just as they catch a glimpse of light, it is snuffed out in the end. However, he tells Ting that he's different, claiming that he is the light and the most dependable person in the whole world of Tianquan's future. The disciple is stunned to hear this, but our hero assures him that the darkness in his heart will eventually dissipate like mist. The sect leader declares this with a flashy display of his power, manipulating the shapes of the clouds and leaving his disciple in awe as they soar above the clouds. Ting is moved to tears by his master's kindness, and a blue aura envelopes his body as he gains 14,926 more experience points. Proud of his teaching abilities, the sect leader praises himself for being talented in educating others. When Xiao sees his latest achievement, she showers him with praise and admiration, applauding his awesomeness. Even Yu, who's still stalking them, can't help but admit that the sect leader is truly amazing. He's surprised to witness how the hero used the power of heaven and earth, initially assuming that there wasn't much to awakening his attribute in the beginner stage. However, after seeing him use his new power to dispel the mental barrier hindering his disciple's heart, the swordsman finally concludes that only Lu Chao Ge is capable of such incredible feats. Nonetheless, he can't shake the feeling that the master and disciple are an ill-fated pair. Meanwhile, Dongli approaches the duo and suggests that they travel on a magic flying item henceforth, now that they've both achieved their breakthroughs. Hearing this, the sect master asks his sister where his own item is and expresses his desire for a limited edition carpet like the leaf boat from Auntie. Unfortunately, she doesn't understand what he means by limited edition, and her hungry disciple wonders if it's something edible. In a good mood, the sect leader promises to treat them all to something good if his sister can find them a suitable place to descend. Delighted by this promise, the two disciples eagerly anticipate the treat, and Dongli seems equally excited as she accelerates the flying carpet to find a suitable landing spot. Xiao complains about the speed, but her master assures her that she'll understand later when she tastes the sect leader's food. This leaves the little girl wondering if our hero is truly skilled at cooking.